the Emperor voice actor. Never seen his face.
Who?
So get I don't know, you
Gene
know,
Simmons.
of course everyone's like Andy Serkis or whatever. Gene Simmons.
When
Not
that Gene.
Gene
Not Gene Simmons. What's the guy that plays? Not Gene Simmons. Who's the guy that plays? Who's the guy that plays? The guy that runs the Daily Bugle in Spider-Man. What's his name? Something Simmons.
Oh fuck! Something
Him,
Simmons.
not Gene Simmons. Sorry, my brain is like chocolate at the minute. Hang on, wait. I've got to find out. 1 second. I've got to find this out. Oh, it's J.K. Simmons. Sorry, J.K. Simmons as the Emperor. There you go. Slightly different. Gene Simmons.
That was my fucking day.
Old man brain.
Welcome to the In the Tank podcast. Get ready for an hour of hot 40k goodness coming in your ears. You're in the tank now, baby.
We're live.
We are indeed live. Welcome everybody to In the Tank. How you doing, my man? My fabulous, sexy co-host.
I'm banging, mate. How are you? My equally sexy co-host.
I'm doing all right. I think we're both quite tired this week.
We've had a week, haven't we?
Going limping into the Easter holidays, I suppose. It's been wild. I've seen you quite a lot recently. Actually,
we've seen a lot of each other. A little too much. Some might say.
That's rude.
I jumped on your bed early in the morning, and I got a little nip slip.
I could have been doing anything, quite frankly. But there we go. But before we go into that, what have you been working on, lad?
I haven't really been working on much because I've been working on this barn launch. So that hobby-wise has had to take a little break, as you know. But I will be hopefully getting back onto the hobby again soon because I've got a couple of events coming up. So I've got to finish off my Necron aeroplane, my flying croissant, the Doom Scythe, which will be quite good fun. So that's sort of a quarter done. So that needs finishing off for my events coming up, my team events, which will be good. One of which you're coming to, so that'll be very nice. That is the Oxford. It's not the Oxford Onslaught team event, is it? What does he call it? It's the
no.
I don't know what he actually calls it. Michael, what do you call it? Leave us a comment down below. But yes, it's the Didcot War Games sort of team event we're going to, which will be great fun.
But we're going to be playing Creations of Fire.
You're finally leaning into the chaos, and I'm going back to my roots for some dirty reanimations. So, that's pretty much it, really. Just got a bit of that, and then I'm going to jump back on the Knights, I think, and get some of those done. I just want to start getting some of the armies done for the stream, some of the easier ones knocked out before I dive into something dirty like AdMech, where I'm going to really have to rip the Band-Aid off and just kill myself again like I did with the GSC.
Like you did the GSC, absolutely.
What about you? What have you been working on?
Love. Well, funnily enough, I was doing some last-minute Dark Angel bits to go to do a certain battle report, which we'll talk about in a minute, because I was finishing off my Inner Circle companions and stuff like that, which I'm glad I did, because they were quite fun. But I'm currently working on painting. What I'm painting at the moment is the old Zest for the team event, because that's what I've got to do. I'm borrowing everything else. And I'm just having fun making a converted Mark III Nemesis Claw kill team for my Chaos Army. So I'm doing like Mark III Night Lords, essentially, where I'm smashing together 10 Mark III modern kits with the Night Lords upgrades through from the kill team, so I can make a cool Mark III looking. It looks really cool, actually. It's going to be really fun. I'll post some pictures on the Discord when it's done. So that's all cool. And then eventually when that's all done, I'm going to start like getting the Blessings of Nurgle involved and doing some like painting up some Death Guard ready for their codex. Don't know whether they're going to be good or not, but I'm kind of...
Get some grubby boys in your life.
I just want to give them a go. I have a funny feeling they'd be good. Because I think they deserve it. They've been quite sleepy for the first.
I don't know. I think they've been in a decent spot, but they've been
right.
like good brawlers for the whole of 10th.
They lack a little bit of spice. So I'm sure that may be on the horizon. But we'll see.
That'd be nice.
Either way, it'll give me a chance to paint some dirty boys, so that's cool. And I'm just gonna from then on paint and enjoy chaos,
for the rest of the year.
Whether it's Death Guard or my Ascended Suns, the warband that I'm doing for CSM, or even Beastman, because I fancy it, and I've got that set aside ready for that.
Yeah,
to go.
you are a bit of a Beastman.
There we go.
I've been finding hair.
I am literally
that you've been. It's like a trail.
Do you know what? Funny you should say that, because my wife was like, "Now Eddie knows the pain. Your work wife knows the pain of your actual wife."
I'm walking around and I'm like, "Oh look, there's a big load of like long, like greyish brownish hair here." I'm like, "Oh look, that's a Russ hair," and I'm like, "Oh, what's this? Yes, a bit of Russ scat down here. Yes, that's."
Russ poo. Wow, that'd be kind of
following your trail back to your nest.
Territory. There you go. My beastman exactly. My beastly lair. But there we go. All good. But yes, before we start getting into the topics proper, like, comment, subscribe, please. Yes. Can we get you on the? I know, we're getting there, right? God damn. Like, I'm licking my wounds since that really horrible one that you made me do. So
I don't think I made you do it. You forgot to say it. So you only got yourself to blame.
Supportive co-host. Oh, God damn. But either way, please get on the Discord. We love chatting on the Discord. Everyone's really cool. Thank you to our Patreons. We're going to be discussing a Patreon topic today, suggested by our beautiful Patreons. So there we go. They're growing all the time.
Indeed.
So
thank
really
you, guys.
Fun.
Genuinely means the world.
Yeah, oh God, seriously. Mwah, thank you. And like us on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. Also, the Battle Barn, please. Check out the Battle Barn, which is our sister affiliate sort of channel.
You just find us Battle_Barn on everything. So nice and easy.
Wicked. The Chode Tank will beckon you over. It's so good. Ride me! I'm excited. There we go. So speaking of Battle Barn, we need to get tucked into our first topic, which is our first post-game Battle Barn chat, lad. So I was very cordially invited to be the first guest, officially speaking, because you had test streams beforehand, on the old Battle Barn. How did you think it went?
It went really well.
And are you pleased?
Very pleased. Yeah, it went really well. I think we only had a couple of minor hiccups. Like the thing that annoyed me the most was that, like, on one of the test streams, I stood next to the wrong score, and everyone was like, "You're standing next to the wrong score all game," and I was like, idiot! So easily rectified. And then I did it again on the first damn live stream. So that was.
The thing is, the thing that makes that even more funny is I did double check with you. I was like, are you sure that that's the side that I was supposed to be
my fault, but that's easily sorted now, because what I've actually done is I've made it now so that I've put a whole array of plugs under the table so people can charge phones. I can charge more than one thing at a time, like cameras and smoke machines. I can keep the iPad now plugged in on either side, because that's how we score the game. So now I can actually be on either side without any worry, which is fantastic. So it doesn't matter, which is great.
I'll be honest, I was expecting profesh, but I wasn't expecting quite the level of profesh that I was when I was actually, like, just to give you like kudos for 1 second, mate. That was nuts. I was quite overwhelmed with like how cool the entire day was. And of course, I love working with you anyway. I'd do anything with you. I'd go on a fucking schooner trip around the Horn of Mexico or whatever, like on a pirate trip or whatever. So, you know, like, this was banging. I was just like, this is fucking fantastic. Like, everything was so well set up. And the fact that you even think about that or whatever, you know. And we even had time to do one of the funnest thing that I did that day, which actually came across really well. Although, unfortunately, the volume on the actual
that was another slight hiccup. But
which was the pre-game sort of taunt between the two armies.
We did like an army intro
where we managed to, like,
versus Lion versus Imhotep, which is very cool. So...
And we both like working with our voice anyway, so like it was really fun to do that. Although you got a bit porn star camera.
I do. I'm a bit of a method actor, so I had to get Russ out of the ring because he was sat behind me watching me over my shoulder, and I was like, "You've got to go because I can't do this." It's like
you went way flayed one because you kind of went like.
Imhotep's quite sort of like, you know, Necrons generally are quite like hunched, aren't they? You know, they're all ancient and you know. If I'm going to do a voice, I have to kind of get into the character a little bit in my head, and if you're standing there going over my shoulder, I know you weren't, but it still just pulls me out of it. So I had to send you out there. I went, Russ, go for a pee.
Don't watch me. See, I'm an exhibitionist, so I'm like, yeah, man.
Yeah, you loved it. No, it's great. We had a belter of a game. We won't spoil the results of it because you guys should go and watch it on the Battle Barn.
True, actually, I was going to potentially do that, but actually, that's true.
It was squeaky bum time. So it was a damn close one, and I'm not going to tell you who won, but it was brilliant. So you go and watch it. We had a lot of fun, and like we were both just enjoying ourselves, rolling some dice, and it was just lovely to kick it off with Russ and have a good time.
Two things without spoiling things. Number one, I have not had a game that close in quite some time.
Me neither.
Where like it swung so huge, like so many times, it was unbelievable. And number two, oh my god, Inner Circle companions are the shit.
Those boys couldn't cook, I tell you. Dude, those things were like orcs. Dude. I said that on the night. They just the amount of attacks that they can put out with their sustained attacks and all that, bonkers.
Especially if you oath whatever you're targeting. But the thing is, right, like the thing that I didn't expect was when they first came out, they were kind of underwhelming, like quite massively underwhelming. And then like G-Dubs just did a tiny tweak. And then all of a sudden they started like showing up in quite a lot of competitiveness. And I was like, okay. And I just perceived them to be a little bit too fragile and like kind of less fragile version of Deathwing Knights, but they serve an entirely different purpose, which is like a crowd control meat grinder.
If you can get them where they need to be without them getting hit, because they're not very tough. They don't have like an invuln. They're still just marine bodies. They've got 3 wounds, I think.
Oh, they're -1 to hit. It's quite fun.
They've got 3 wounds and stuff, but they're not going to survive a proper whacking from something. So you kind of need to protect them, but they're brilliant once they're there. They will just mince stuff. So they are a lot of fun. And the armies look glorious. We did some great army shots. It was just brilliant. We had loads of people jumping onto the live, which was great, and we've had loads of views since. So I think we're already
You're cooking it.
Yeah, I think we're already like just about to hit 800 as of recording this, and it's still climbing. So we're doing all right. And for those of you who are interested in watching, we're going to be doing them every week for the first month, every Saturday, 7:30 p.m. And then after that, it's all a bit guest dependent, but the plan is to jump to twice a week. So we're going to be doing Tuesdays and Saturdays, 7:30 p.m., which will be really cool. It'll be good fun. But I'm on a slightly different camera in the barn today because I didn't want to mess with the main shot that we've got. But you can actually see that I'm in the barn, which is quite fun. So this is the little table that we were playing on the other day. So just a little sneak preview for you all there.
And thank you very much, Michael Call, friend of the show, the best TO ever.
The terrain looked beautiful.
Like honestly, your boards really made it. So like it looked.
It really did. Had a lot of compliments on the terrain. So thank you for that, Michael. You're a superstar.
And thank you for everybody tuning in. It was lovely to have your support live. And I wanted nothing but the best.
We had a load of you guys who are regulars of the show, of the In the Tank show, turning up as well, which was lovely to see. So thank you for the support there, guys. That was wonderful.
It's kind of like we're forming the spider web of like crossover, really right? Like it's lush. It's really, really cool. But there we go. So go and check it out.
Yeah,
let us know what you think.
Let us know
how you. Let us know how we can improve it and stuff. But I was very proud.
Likewise,
of you.
Likewise, we had fun. We did some good groundbreaking that day.
I think I'm quite a divisive personality, though. I'm quite loud.
Yeah, but that's not a bad thing. I think there's a lot of people out there that love you, Russ. So don't you worry.
Bless you. Well,
a lot of love.
Thank you very much.
It was good fun, and everyone really loved your angels. A lot of compliments on the army. So very good.
Yeah, it was very sweet. Thank you, everybody, and I love your colour scheme too.
Cheers.
Right. So, speaking of colour schemes,
stop blowing smoke up our ass. We had enough of that in the intro.
Exactly. What are your earliest painting memories, Ed?
I've got some very old painting memories.
Like, let's put the old nostalgia grease on our eyes. It's like properly go
one
for
of the
it.
earliest ones I ever had was of a load of Necrons that I bought, just warriors, and I just sprayed them gunmetal. And I didn't paint them at all. I just literally sprayed them gunmetal. And I remember I had the biggest nightmare ever, because I don't know if you guys remember the old OG warriors that had those little green translucent rods.
Yeah.
I
love those.
hated them because I was just useless at getting them to glue in without getting glue all over them at the time, and they just looked shit if you got glue on them.
Did you use PVA?
I think I did. It was just a mess. It was awful. I remember when I built them, the other thing was that those old warriors are quite like they're not a very new hobbyist friendly kit, weirdly enough, even though they look very simple, because when you put them together, you kind of need to give them a bit of time between each phase. Like, you put their chest halves together, that's easy, but when you put that on their legs, if you don't hold it there for a good amount of time, it'll just tip. forwards. And then obviously when you put their arms and their gun on, it's very hard to get that to sort of not just drop down low. So a lot of mine was all doubled over, looking really weird and all wonky. And I just remember being really disappointed with them. And I was like, these just look shit compared to what I wanted them to look like.
Yeah, that's a hard.
Yeah, and I looked at them and I was like, I just hate these. So I just put them in the soup bottle, and then came back 16 years later, and they were soup. So fuck them. That was one of my earliest memories. Necron soup. Fuckers. What about you?
Suck it right up. I've got a few. So we'll ping pong this, right? So I remember one of my first hobby gifts that I was ever given was a really cool second ed painting box, which were full of about 12 of the screw cap paints. So you had to like screw them on. And again, I remember like struggling with those so much from where paint would... What is it with GW caps, man? Like, fuck me. All the fucking time. And like, it would get stuck because you get paint
dry
and then you could never do it. So it then almost cracked my teeth from like kind of doing it, and then like turn it like a fucking beast. I use my teeth for everything like that, and like I'm surprised I don't have like a million cavities, but then maybe that's why my teeth are quite strong. And like it came with like 5 monopose marines, and like of course it's like the Ultramarines paint guide or the Blood Angels paint guide or whatever. But just and I remember just the smell of them, and like that immediate nostalgia now looking back of like how cool that was, but like equally remembering compared to the modern era just how shit early paints were.
They weren't great.
Oh my god, they were trash.
And also, a lot of us didn't really know how to thin
bad.
paints properly back then, so we would just slop them on, and it was a hot mess.
Slobbering it on. They just love it when you slab it on. So we were just slobbering paint on these poor miniatures. Sometimes primed, sometimes not primed.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Just like whatever. So like, you know, oh god, those Wild West years were just like crazy, man. Like absolutely crazy. But like, ironically, some of the colours were peak, but the application of them was horrendous. Like I remember the early reds being absolute ass. But yet, one of my favourite colours of all time, which I think kick-started my love of the faction, Dark Angels Green. I've never seen a true replication of that original paint, where it's almost got this like weird sort of bluey hue in it, and like no one has quite done it the same. Caliban Green looks nothing like it. I don't know. It's like a mythological green colour.
You could probably mix your own.
To find. I've been trying, dude. I've got like 8 different variants of what would be Caliban Green, and none of them are
It's
quite
like that episode of How I Met Your Mother when they're trying to find that burger place and they can never find the right burger place, because I feel like they just you built it up in your head into something that it's not. Maybe it never existed.
This is it. And then it applies ass, and you're like, oh, fuck, what have I done? Any other painting?
Yeah, I mean, another Necrons one. This was a slightly less of a disappointment. Was when I painted the Nightbringer for the first time. I had this like metal Nightbringer that I painted, and this was one of the first sort of bigger projects that I did. And I remember I painted him using loads of blue ink, and like it was mental. I just went crazy with the blue inks, and I must have done like 1,000 layers of blue ink on this guy, to the point where he was like midnight darkness almost, and it was actually quite cool.
Oh wow.
But he was so glossy, and I didn't want him to be glossy. And back then, I just didn't know how to not make him glossy, because I didn't even know about, you know, like varnishing and all of that sort of stuff. So,
no YouTube, dog. I was just like, that shit
I guess he's just shiny. I can't find him. He will turn up at some point. He's here somewhere. But
the thing is, I remember when that Nightbringer came out back in the day, back then, because that model was peak, and everyone was like, "Whoa!"
I've repainted the new one in the Finecast version since, but I really want him to get a new kit. If he gets a proper, you know, like Void Dragon scale kit, I am just gonna shit my pants and drop my yogurt simultaneously.
Him and the Deceiver should. Him and the Deceiver should totally
they really deserve one. And I would love it if they just gave us a third Catan, the Flayer, you know, the old the one that's well, I mean, the Deceiver's sort of partially responsible for the Flayer virus, I think, but like the Flayer would be very cool, because that'd be wicked. Oof.
But yeah, like I don't know, man. Yeah, the inks. Funny you should say about the inks, because I remember and we were talking about this on the previous episode with Chestnut Ink Wash, right? And how like, again, with White Dwarf guides were so bad for this, where, bless them, I think they're trying their best, but essentially it would be like, okay, so here's your painting guide for this model, and it's like, so you get these colours, and then you base coat this thing, and then you highlight the model with these colours, done, and it's like, what? Sorry, what? And use chestnut ink on this, use chestnut ink on this, use chestnut ink on this. And chestnut ink was used all the time. Inks back then were fucking appalling as well. They, like you say, they were hyper gloss. And
they were, weren't they? I don't know why they were so glossy.
Didn't move very well.
This was like a pre-Drakenhof kind of blue that I had. And it was just mental. That sounds, by the way, what you were talking about, like that, that guide to draw an owl, where it's like draw 2 circles and then draw the rest of the fucking owl.
Draw the owl. Yeah.
Very much like that.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
we are like blessed now, by the way, as hobbyists. I think new hobbyists coming into things now, where you could just go on like War Hipster's channel or somebody else like that, like Painting Coach Pete the War Gamer. There's so many people out there who you can just go on and be like, I want like an easy contrast scheme or whatever it is for doing Tyranids or Custodes or whatever, and you could just, as a new hobbyist, you could just pick up an easy to paint army and just do it and be like, this looks fucking great, and I've got an easy to follow guide that does everything. God damn it.
All jokes aside, contrast paints.
Oh, they're a game changer.
Imagine having contrast paints back in the day. Like just dude. Like,
some of the stuff that we have now that we didn't have then, like contrast paint, like dirty down rust, things like what's that one that you were absolutely obsessed with and you dunk everything in? Streaking grime. I think you just bath in streaking grime. Like
I'm like it's like Dune. I'm like harking
just come out
like in secret, but like thought you'd like that. But like but yeah, and the only place where you could really get knowledge back then was like GW stores, and just praying that your local Games Workshop managers and stuff were actually semi-qualified at like talking about it, because that was it.
You sometimes get lucky and have really like an old school like hobby guru who just sort of like hang out at the James Workshop.
An ex-Golden Demon winner or something just there.
He'd be
just
like,
being like,
come here, my son.
Do this. yeah.
Into my van.
So cool. No, don't make it weird.
See my Citadel paint racks. They're all in dropper bottles.
But you'll find just to be completely honest and open about like mistakes that were made back then, and you talked about your Nightbringer and stuff. My biggest mistake was I actually found it really hard to settle on a legion that I liked, like a Space Marine chapter or a legion. So inevitably what I would do is I would get really into one, so I'd like really be into Blood Angels one week and paint them all Blood Angels, and then I'd be like, oh no, Salamander's really cool, and I'd paint them Salamanders green, and I'd go, oh no, like White Scar's really good, and then I paint them white. And by the end of my, like, all of my Marines had like 5 or 6 layers of fucking thick ass paint on them, and I'd just be like, oh, I fucking ruined my models, because back then I hadn't settled on Dark Angels because they were way more obscure back then. I knew no one that had a Dark Angels army back then, and just everyone loved a Space Wolf or whatever. Even back then, Space Wolf.
Have you ever found like an old metal mini of yours that's been dropped? Right.
Horrifying.
And then I found I brought this up on the show before, but I've got a cave troll that I painted, like an old metal one. The one from the bit in the Mines of Moria with the spear and everything. So I've got that one. And it must have dropped him at some point because his arm had come off. And I looked at it and I was like, shit me, I've put a lot of fucking paint on this model, because you can actually slot the arm back on with the layers of paint are so fucking thick that they actually slot back together again smooth, and you wouldn't even know, you can't even see the join. And I was like, okay, I'll just do that back together again, and it's just perfect.
It's like a Van Gogh painting, like the
it
paint
was
is
so
still
thick
drying
inside, it's
and
still wet.
It kind of like starts to glue back together again. It was, like,
it was that thick. I was like, Jesus, okay, we'll just glue that one back together again. It's fine.
Yeah, no need for pinning. Just apply a lot of paint. There we go. Yeah. Oh God, fucking hell! Metal minis and pinning. There we go.
Yeah,
another
but
one.
again, like Plague Marines, one of the I think, the most fun early memories of painting that I had was my Plague Marines squad, my old metal Plague Marines squad, and my Plague Bearers that came with the little Nurglings.
Cool.
Those were a project I remember doing when I was at school, and I just had so much fun painting them because they were really messy and sloppy compared to like the normal Marines stuff that I'd tried before, because I'd done a bit of Dark Angel stuff, and I was just having so much fun, like with all the guts hanging out and like all the glossy paints, and it was just great. So that was a lot of fun.
And I guess the whole point was that they would look a bit fucked anyway, right? So like you could just go mad
they were fun. So
see, for me, my big project back then was Tau, and getting my Tau on the battlefield and playing Tau all the time, and that was cool. I had a really nice, quite tasteful for back then, black and
thank God you didn't paint them white.
Color scheme.
Can you imagine white Tau?
No. White Tau wasn't a thing back then. It was the ochre
colour.
The
OG.
Sort of colour. That was their launch colour originally, which I think always should be.
It's a nice colour. It works well for them. Although if I was going to paint Tau, that is not how I paint Tau at all.
No, fair. It's not how I paint my Tau, but there we go. I'm painting my old original scheme because I'm a sentimental.
I do mine like that sort of, that sort of Fallout green, that sort of... that kind of colour, and they'd be quite rusty with like orange glows on them.
Like a khaki.
Yeah, like that khaki green, but I'd make them really like worn battle suits, like rusty kind of. I'd want them to be like a Fallout kind of, almost put together kind of battle suits with a bit of like random metal plating slapped on here and there, and make them look really like wastelandy. That's what I'd do.
We are so spoilt for choice for stuff these days, man. I've just reflected on that and going, God, look at my paints and stuff. I'm like, I would have killed for that back in the day. Like, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And you're also limited by your bloody budget and like pocket money and stuff, right? And just, and even when you take a trip to a G-Dubs, unless you're going to make an order in from the old packing trolls.
As a 36-year-old man, as I said the other week on pod, if I walk into a Games Workshop store, I'm like, I'm going to walk back out again now, like a tear in my eye, because of how expensive everything is.
I'm going to remortgage my house for a combat
I really
patrol.
want a Lancer. Can we sell the dogs?
There we go. So there you go. Let us know your earliest painting memories, folks.
Do.
Like, did any of that hit you in this nostalgia thing, or are you too young to be like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on here? Like that's fine too. There'd be some grey beards that'd be like, oh, you have no idea. The original like Rogue Trader paints.
99% of our audience are men in the age bracket of 30 to 40. So it's probably. I think most people are around our age. Trying to pull that younger audience in, Russ.
There we go. See, cool. So this one's going to be quite an interesting topic. Our most hated units of all time, and I'm talking purely mechanically here. So no, because we've done sculpts that we think are lol cow hilarious. This is more about playing and what specific units have pissed us off over the years to the point where we're like, nah, fuck that unit.
You start.
I will start. I will say my most hated, can you guess this? My most absolute hated unit of all time now, especially now, that I hope get rotated out and make all the Space Wolf players really upset, because I don't care, fuck you, because the fact that you spam this unit makes me physically ill in so many ways, is the Wolf Riders, aka the Thunderwolf Cavalry. They're so fucking annoying. They're mega hard, mega fast, trigger a lot of silly mechanical things that are mounted because they're mounted, right? So they trigger a lot of Stormlance, advancey, chargey, 6-inchy bullshittery, lanciness, right? Lanciness. And just, they're so fucking stupid. They're really hard. They're really tough. And I want to have the hardest, toughest shit around.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And just being wolf jailed out by fucking 30 or whatever Wolf Rider dickheads is just not my idea of a good time. And they look lame. And they are lame. And they're paid by the lamest faction. So come at me. Hate Thunderwolves. So Thunderwolves, come at me. I don't care. They're the worst. So there you go. Go for it.
So for me, one of the worst ones that I've always hated is stuff like exorcists, basilisks, and I can't even remember the other names of the other ones. Your bloody Marines with those T-shirt launchers, Plague Burst Crawlers.
Choose
Exorcists,
one.
If I had to choose one
of these.
I bloody hate them.
Cool.
They're so annoying. Like Exorcists have just got a really annoying damage profile, which I think they're damage 3 or something, aren't they? And they just shit on all my score
or
pet.
D6.
Yeah, they just
or D6.
Things that artillery that are actually quite good into sort of decent elite infantry and that sort of stuff are really annoying. I don't mind it if you can blow up a shitty side objective holding T4 unit of whatever. That's fine. But when you're actually threatening serious contender units and you're just able to keep blowing them off the board every turn, that actually makes the game quite unfun and hard to play. So you should just remove indirect from them. Sorry. I hate it. I mean, I came up against them in LGT and I was just like, God, these are a fucking menace.
Ironically, I quite enjoy these units because I play a lot of them, right? So
they're just not much fun to play against, if I'm honest.
No, fair. I think Exorcists are very strong. They also have you also can't really bully them because they have heavy bolters as well, and they're quite hard actually. They're almost like marine tanks. Yeah. They're not like light tanks. They're pretty substantial. Yeah. So good luck trying to get through that, right? And getting overwatched and all kinds of bullshittery.
They are quite tough to kill. And it's just they can just sit miles back and blow you up, and then if you come out, they get even better. So they're just not great.
I mean, but I would argue one of the coolest.
No, they're great. They look beautiful. I have nothing against the model. I just don't like what they do in the game. But it's a bit better now that indirect only hits on a 4+, so it's not as terrible. But it's still indirect can go in the bin.
Yeah, fair.
What's your next one?
My second choice. I'm going to key in on a couple that really pissed me off. Aspect warriors.
Okay.
Hyper specialized aspect warriors for the Eldar specifically. Just because, obviously the Eldar vibe is like a Swiss Army knife of fucking katanas that are themselves very weak in terms of their toughness and stuff like that, but do one thing exceptionally bullshittery well, right? And the two ones that really fuck me off and really piss me off are fire dragons. Because they are ruthless anti-tank units. Forget it, man. If you've got a tank in front of a unit of fire dragons, and I can't remember who their bloody is it Fugan? Fugan. Hot boy. With him in the unit, forget it, man. Your tank is gone.
Unless you roll
whether it's a light tank. Yeah. What invols? Yeah, but dude, if you've got a normal tank, you just got a tank with a shit ton of wounds, forget about it, bro. That's not good, right? I also hate swooping hawks.
Yeah, they can be annoying.
Because again, same sort of thing. They're pokier than I always remember them being in shooting, actually, where I'm like, oh, they're like little mini bright lances, actually. They're kind of irritating. And again, really annoying to jump around, always good at scoring objectives and just being little shits that you just come here, you you're just chasing them around all game. So fuck swooping hawks.
So my next one is I don't like units with damage blanks, but especially things like Tyrannofexes, which are the high toughness anyway. Those things are like land raiders. I don't know if you've seen the profiles on them. They're like a 2-up save. They're T something stupid, I don't know, at least 12, maybe even higher than that. But they're really tough to put down. They've got a lot of wounds, and they've got the once per game where they can just be nah, ignore your damage. And I think Magnus has some kind of ability the way he can do that, whether it's a detachment locked or not. And there's another one, Ghost Tides as well. God, they're annoying. When you just almost about to kill something, and you put your high value shot into it, and they're no, I'm just going to blank that, and you're ugh, so annoying. God damn it. I hate damage blank abilities. So yes, those.
Yeah, damage blank abilities always feel
bad.
Unfair. I know. They always feel bad where they're just oh, come on, man. Come on. Especially if it's a once per round effect.
Yeah, once per game it's not as terrible. I think the Tyrannofexes can only do it once per game, but it's still quite annoying.
I mean, Fabius has it, right, as well. Like a once per round effect where he's just nah, my chosen aren't taking any damage now, fuck you. And you're just ooh.
Yeah. So that's another
one
that I'm not a huge fan of.
I'm going to finish off my choices with some World Eaters units.
World Eaters.
World Eaters. In particular, although I kind of really want to play these and smash some face. Angron.
Fast, high pressure, ridiculously strong units, those kind of...
Well, yeah, but like Angron in particular is always mean, and like he's cheaper than you expect him to be in points. Of course, if your opponent rolls hot when you do eventually kill him, he can come back to life.
Which is always a problem.
Not fun. And by that same token as well, 8-bound and various 8-bound pressure where they're tougher than you expect them to be as well. They have it involved, and they're there. They're like on your doorstep, like eating your units. Granted, it doesn't help if you deploy on the front of your lines.
Yeah.
But whatever.
It's a personal choice.
But big is a repeated personal choice. But like, Angron and the 8-bound are just mean. They're just mean. They show you who's boss in close combat. Where if you're like, I'm all right in close combat, those fuckers are like elite, like close combat units that will just take you to
Brown Town.
Brown Town. And also a special mention to the Silent King as well, because again, just in terms of those hyper strong, hyper powerful epic heroes that are just annoying, the Silent King is also mega annoying. Like he's always way tougher than you expect him to be. But then I love playing Mortarian, so what can I say? I love a fat moth boy, but then you expect a fat moth boy to be tough. You don't necessarily expect a ancient pharaonic oligarch to be particularly tough.
He's on
quite
like
frankly,
a super throne, which has got like quantum shielding and stuff. You know,
whatever.
They are so tough. If you read any of the Necron lore about how tough they are, it is bonkers. Like. They can,
yes, I know, but he himself is so
they can like charge, supercharge.
Like...
So there's this bit I was reading one of the books the other day, right, where this guy deflected an attack with his arm, right, and he just gets like hit with this massive power glaive, and he deflects the attack with his arm, and what he does is he like puts all of his like power, his core power, into super hardening this one armor panel on his arm, and he gets it so hard that it's denser than a singularity, and it's still cracked under the pressure of what he got hit by, and he was like, oh shit, like fuck. So,
I love in 40k that everything is
I love it. I fucking love it.
Right, everything is so overpowered. But Necron tech is
ridiculous. Well, they are the masters of the material, right? That's the whole point.
Oh, apparently.
Well, no, they are.
Yeah,
they're masters of the material universe.
Old, grubby men that are just like, get off my lawn.
It's fucking great because...
And like almost like old neighbours bickering with each other, going like, I don't think you should play your music so loud at night. I don't think you should like cook barbecue on a Saturday. And they're just like,
They are like that.
Like they would take over the universe if they weren't so fucking
unfortunately,
petty,
they're not making any more Necrons, so don't worry. But yeah, they are very funny. Like it's just how like insane their tech is, but also how like knackered it all is at the same time. So like it's all kind of flooded with error codes or like, you know, running on like 1% battery, you know, this sort of stuff. Like there's this bit in the book that I'm reading where they're like running away from an Imperial crusade and basically they've got no fuel in their jump drive. But so they're like tethered all of their fleet and they're like pulling all of the energy from the fleet to make like jumps. But they don't jump like humanity does through the warp. They jump in a totally different way. So humanity is like keeps losing them, and then like they keep trying to shoot missiles at them, and then they're sort of flickering through reality. And humanity are like, oh, for fuck's sakes, like stop that shit.
Or, you know, forgetting that you had like 30 monoliths in a pocket dimension. And
I'm still waiting for that to happen. That has to come out. If he finds that key, I feel like he's going to find it in this book because this is the second book. If he finds that key and those monoliths come out, I'm going to just be like, oh, can't wait.
There you go,
can't wait. I'm ready. My
there you
body's
go.
ready.
But yeah, any more to add to that, buddy? Because that was cool.
No, I think my last one of most hated units is a toss-up between -1 damage stuff like Ogrin and your damn Deathwing Knights. It's such an annoying ability because there's so much damage too in the game, and it really is annoying when it just like halves your effectiveness into them.
Says you,
shut up.
Get
Those
out.
are like
Get
those are like
out.
300 and something points each, those things. But
True.
the other one, which really, it doesn't, right, okay, this is one of those sort of things where, as players, I'm sure you guys will have come up against this. And when you do, either it will just not bother you at all because it won't really go off, or it'll become the most supreme bullshit thing in the game that you're currently playing, which is stuff like Archon 2-up invulnerable shadow field saves.
Ooh,
Those things,
they're horrible.
when they go off, are just a nightmare.
Horrible.
So for those of you who don't know, that is basically the way it works is Archons have a 2-up invulnerable save until you fail it, at which point, obviously, it just goes away and they go up to their normal 4-up, I think. They've got a normal 4-up invulnerable save or something like that. And then you can't roll
Foxy
that 2-up
elves.
invulnerable save again. You can't re-roll it either. So it's a really cool ability, but god damn it's annoying if your opponent won't roll a 1.
Mate, you roll hard.
It's the same with
You roll
Bakari.
hard.
I think he
Like,
has the
that's
same
it.
sort of thing. And they could just be like 2-up, 2-up, 3-up, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4. And you're just like, oh my God, I'm putting like knights into this damn Archon. They won't die.
Well, weirdly, something that kind of breaks the Horus Heresy is a thing that you can give to sergeants called Artificer Armor, which basically, because obviously AP doesn't work the same in Horus Heresy as what it does in 40k. So basically, you're always going to have an uninterrupted 2-up save on your sergeants. Okay. And basically what people do, because SN Battle Reports had to change this mechanically for their event, where people would always take Artificer Armor on all of their squads and just soak it on the sergeant. So they'd take it and just be like twos, until they rolled a 1, and then the sergeant would be dead. But at that point, like, he soaked like all the shots just on one dude. But then SN Battle Reports have said
silly.
like, no, you can only do like 4 of those assigned to the sergeant or whatever.
Yeah,
exactly. But by laws of written, and it hasn't been modified by G-dubs yet, like that is something that happens. So like a lot of people just tank it to say Artificer. 2-up.
I mean, even the Lions 3-up
invuln
can be bullshit, to be honest with you.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
It is good. It's not a bad save at all. He just needs to be a bit pokier.
Especially when you only roll a 1 for the damage for the 1 attack you do get through on your D6.
Well, whatever, man. Look, dude, I rolled plenty of 1s into 1s, but you'll see that if you log on to the old. There you go. See. Let us know your most hated units of all time. I'd be actually quite curious. Actually, see what you think. But it's time for the meaty topic of today. This one I've been really looking forward to. Again, Patreon question. That's one of the things on the Discord. You get access to a special location on the Discord if you are Patreon, where you can talk to us directly and ask us to do topics. Well, I've got a list of Patreon topics that we will get through, but this one's been a big one. And I've been brewing on this for a while. You've been brewing on this, and we've both collaborated. And we're gonna have. You're going to edit. Sorry to make your life really hard, but you're going to edit
thanks. Give me loads of work.
over the top of this, right?
Cheers,
Ross. No worries. Love you.
Not like I've got enough on at the minute with the battle barn.
That's all right.
Appreciate it.
Nah, fuck you. Fuck you. This is always going to happen, mate. So
brilliant.
take it on the chin. So you haven't had to do this for ages.
No, that's true.
You just get your fucking thing, man. So.
Yes.
Actors. Choices for actors and casting for the 40k Amazon TV show. We're not specifically setting this in any particular era. It can be any character in the 40k universe. I have seen so many shit lists like this that it enraged me, and it's like,
I think we've
Lehman
got
Rush played by Chris Hemsworth
list.
or something ridiculous, and it's just like, no, fuck off. So we're gonna tic-tac-toe it. I think we have quite a few, right? So I'm
going to start off with a banger. I'm going to start with a banger.
Bring it on.
So he is a very beloved 40k character. Now, just for context here, guys, we are not necessarily hitting this from a particular angle, like they're going to make the Horus Heresy or they're going to make the Eisenhorn series. This is just a fantasy list of if they were going to cast any characters in this setting, these are some of the ones we'd love to see, right? Just for context. So my first one, Ibram Gaunt. I mean, who doesn't love this guy, right? What a firecracker. Jason Isaacs.
Love this.
So for those of you who don't know who that actor is, he's the guy who played Lucius Malfoy in Harry Potter, amongst many other cool roles. He's just such a dude, and I think he would be amazing for it. He's in The Death of Stalin.
Yes, the Death of Stalin character in particular really looks like Gorn. with the scar and
so
stuff,
good,
and his like gruffness and stuff. And I think he is charismatic enough to like take it.
I'll put the pictures up
right?
so you guys can see.
I'll be honest, you did one better than me because I was brewing on Gaunt for ages and I gave up because I was like, can't think of anyone quite.
It was a tough one.
Picked. But actually, that is a superb choice.
I love Jason Isaacs and everything he's in. I think he's an incredible actor, and I think he would nail that so well. So that's my first choice. What about you?
Great. One of my favourite characters in the entire setting is old Malkador the Sigillite, right? And I was brewing this for a while, and weirdly, I was talking to my wife about it because my wife is really into the lore, and we both kind of twigged, and we were like, "Oh my god, Ian McShane!" And if anyone doesn't know who Ian McShane is, he's been in loads of shit over the years, but his most notable appearances recently was that terrible adaptation of American Gods where he played Mr. Wednesday, aka Odin. But he was also in one brief episode of Game of Thrones where he played a priest of the Seven, and that kind of vibe was more like where I was at, if I was honest. Like, as this brooding sort of like quite charismatic but like haunted kind of character, looks really like him.
He's got a face like a ballsack.
And
he'd be perfect for Malkador. Like, if you see the picture that's on screen now, if you are watching, like the similarity is uncanny. Like the wrinkles and everything are almost in the right places.
But also he's very British, he's very refined, he's obviously very intelligent. He was in the John Wick movies as well, actually. He was like the boss of the Assassin Guild or whatever. But like, that is my Malkador as far as I can say. Like, no one else will do. Like, that has got to be Malkador, and I think he would be fantastic for that. So that's
brilliant
my
choice. I honestly looked at that and I was like, you nailed that out the gate. That was. I looked at the pictures and I was like, what? This is the same man.
Born to be
talking
Malkador.
About men, I'm going to make my next choice a woman. So, Morven Val. Now, Morven Val has got a very cool model on the tabletop, and I think she's kick-ass in the lore, and there's only one person I could think that I'd like to see playing her, and that is Gwendolyn Christie. And for those of you that don't know who Gwendolyn Christie is, she played, hang on a second, what was her name in Game of Thrones? Remind me. Brienne of Tarth in Game of Thrones. She is massive for a start. I feel like I could see her in a set of Paragon armor just striding across the battlefield, and she's just got that kind of the right face for it, the hair, the blondness, like she just personifies it for me. I feel like she'd nail that. She'd be perfect for it.
I totally agree in terms of like kicking out like speeches about the emperor and stuff like that, right? Like totally. Although I will say I'm going to kind of like interject here and maybe say blend my choice with your choice here, where I think we need to swap.
Really?
Because the one thing I will say about Morven Val is she's quite young in the lore. Like she's like in her early 20s, mid 20s or whatever, right? Because and no shade on your lady, but like she's not.
I mean, you could de-age
her,
right, as an actress.
No, true, but she also has like an innocent look because like the High Lords of Terror like tried to manipulate the Adeptus Sororitas by electing her because she was they thought she'd be quite impressionable because she's quite young. So I'm gonna propose a swap, and I didn't talk to you about this. How about we have Brienne as, or what's the
her name is Gwendolyn Christie.
Gwendolyn, that's it. How about we say Gwendolyn is actually a perfect Celestine? Right, okay. And Chloe Grace Mortiz, who played Hit Girl in and Kick-Ass, could be a Morven Val.
I mean, they're both kind of swappable, to be honest with you. You could almost merge the two and create like, a version of each. Have children.
Totally. Fair. I mean, dude,
there are some really cool sisters characters out there, to be honest with you, I think. So, I
think sisters would be a really fun role to get your teeth into, right? Because you would have this almost divine, like, femininity of, like, because when you read sisters' books, what I do love about sisters' books is, for obvious reasons, and they tend to be written now by like a lot of like lady authors or people that have a good way of viewing through the feminine scope. Because what I do love about them is they have a very different feel to that of like Space Marine novels, where like it's all very sort of, it's a nunnery, right? So it can be really fucking catty, like mega catty, like mega bitchy, like mega snidey, right? But equally, it can be intensely loving and matriarchal and like really inspiring and like really loving like the divine femininity and like what's going on. So I think as a you know, a female actor or whatever, I think you could really get your teeth into like that role of like being so unbelievably incredibly badass, but still have that awesome like lady vibe of just like carrying it so well. Do you know what I mean? Like it would just be wicked.
Both good choices.
Well, good.
Back to me again, then, I guess.
Indeed.
So
yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interject.
I didn't want to just be like, oh, I'm going to do all the Primarchs. So I have chosen a Primarch, and the one I've chosen is one that will be up your alley, Lorgar. Now, he was a tough one because he's got a very particular look, and he needed to be played by a character that could get his intensity correct, I think, because he strikes me as a very passionate, intense individual. And I think that he needed to be, you know, quite a sort of, quite big, quite sort of pious and all this sort of stuff. So I ended up having a real good think about this one, and I finally settled on the one man that I think could play him, who is Mark Strong. Yeah. And I think he is so good. Choice. Like, strong choice. He is he's incredible as the villain in Sherlock Holmes. If you haven't seen that with Robert Downey Jr. in that, one of the Sherlock Holmes movies, he was in that. You can't even remember it, can you? But like he
is he in Sherlock Holmes?
He's in one of the Sherlock Holmes movies.
He's not Moriarty.
No, not it's I can't remember what he Black.
Oh yes, he is. He's in the first one.
So he's just got this real, like, in that movie, he just had this real sinister air to him. And he had this real on-screen presence and like this sort of almost like sort of terror. I know that it was all sort of turned out to be a load of bullshit, but it was great like power play and like a lot of sort of powerful presence. And exactly. And he had all these people almost like trembling in their boots. And I kind of feel like that Lorgar needs that, and I felt like he'd be able to bring that. And also, he's got the face and the head, and you know the sort of bold. You know,
he does.
I felt like he'd nail it. So that was my choice for Primarch. What have you gone for next?
Oh no, I liked that choice. That choice was very cool indeed. I have gone. I'll do a Primarch as well, and if we're talking like fantasy, because. Also, Mark Strong, I would argue, unless you de-aged him, is possibly a little bit too old.
I'm talking about prime Mark Strong, like, you know, Mark Strong, like action movies, sort of.
Yeah. Right. If I'm allowed to go there and have my fantasy casting, right, and we could almost like resurrect dead actors potentially as well, that aren't going to be your stereotypical like Orson Welles and stuff like that, right? My choice for Sanguinius was only one choice. And people may go, this is a fucking genius choice, or you're smoking crack. And that is Heath Ledger as Sanguinius.
I like that. You're resurrecting a dead actor to play a dead character. Genius move, yeah.
Yes, exactly. I mean, in terms of the diversity of what Heath was capable of after what we saw him do with The Dark Knight, where... obviously the complexity of that character, but also his lovability with his previous roles,
I loved him in A Knight's Tale. Honestly, probably my favourite. That's one of my favourite movie of all time. So good. Dude, it's so good. It's such a good movie.
It's so shit, but so good. But also, he kind of looks like him a bit.
He's got that curly kind of blonde hair, and I could see him pulling that off. I really could. That's a great choice.
And he's got that like.
I'm
gentle,
so sad that we lost Heath Ledger because I think we could have had some incredible movies out of him. It's so sad.
Heartbroken.
Yeah, bless him.
Heartbroken. But that loving side, right, where obviously he loves his sons and he's so charismatic and everyone wants to fuck him and love him and like hold him. Like we all love Sanguinius. Like all jokes aside, like he is the best Primarch. Like objectively he is, right? And we all just want to love Sanguinius and like bow the knee, right? And like we all love Heath. Yeah. Like, I don't know any cunt that like hates Heath Ledger, and I would like call you out and call you a knobhead because I think Heath's shit.
He's a dude.
Or was, bless him. But like, so he kind of mirrors both, and he kind of looks like him. I think he would.
I think he bring, like you said, that intensity to the role because he's got that supreme sort of lightness in him, but also because of what ended up happening, you need that sort of ability to play that darkness
and the black and the red thirst, right?
I think he'd be so good because he was such a versatile actor when he was knocking about. Bless him. So good choice, very good choice. I've got a couple more. So
me too.
Right, so this one's a really cool one, and I wanted to do a bit of an out there character that we might see just because they're a really cool character in the lore, and they keep popping up all over the place in loads of novels. And I was thinking to myself, who could play this character? And I was like, they need to be. So for context, this is Fabius Bile, right? And Fabius Bile is a really interesting character in the lore. He obviously has been cloning Primarchs. He's been doing all kinds of shindiggery. Yeah. And I think...
I thought this is an inspired choice,
I thought it was fucking inspired. So again, this is going to have to be a de-aging of the actor. You'll see the picture that we'll bang up on screen. But a younger Anthony Hopkins... Fuck me. Goodness gracious. I'm talking, obviously, when he was in old...
Hannibal.
Yeah, exactly. Hannibal. That kind of scale, because he would just... God, he'd be so good. Like, he would bring that kind of terrifying, nervous energy, like that sort of makes you just feel back-footed the whole time when you're around him.
Yeah, when you're like, yes, I can make some modifications.
Oh, just be like, everyone would be like, I don't know if I want you to. Do I? Don't do it. Do it? No, don't. He's got that kind of horrible...
I love it. I actually thought this was your most inspired choice, actually. And I was looking at it, I was like, oh,
it's a good choice, isn't it?
That's a nice choice.
I was looking at it. Yeah.
Classic.
He's such a great actor as well, Anthony Hopkins. Like, he's incredible. One of my favourite actors ever, I think.
I mean, iconic. Iconic is the only word that I would use to describe him, right? But I think he could get into that headspace very easily and just be unsettling in a way that is primal, and you're like,
you can see him on the battlefield, and you can see all these other Marines just going crazy, and him just just sort of casually butchering somebody and just inspecting all the parts and doing all this sort of stuff. And with that sort of callous, psychotic, dead behind the eyes kind of look that he has in Hannibal.
He's seen this all before.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I feel like he'd just be the man for the job for that. So that is my fourth choice.
See, I'm going to talk about what I think is my most inspired choice, and that is Cillian Murphy of Peaky Blinders fame as Mortarion.
Yeah, I think that was a belter. Again, picture up on the channel, on the YouTube video if you guys are watching. If you are listening, I will put a little sort of image together, and I'll pop it in the description for you, so you guys can click on that to have a look. Nice. But yeah, it's uncanny. You nailed that.
How he looked in Oppenheimer, right? But also like in his dourness. Do you know what I mean? It is just like... Do
you know what? When you said it, do you know what came to my mind?
Break that.
Him in The Dark Knight. When he was old Scarecrow.
Scarecrow. Yeah,
because he with the gas mask and that sort of all of the poisons and stuff. I thought that would, he was quite scary, obviously, being the Scarecrow in that. And I think he's so good with that gaunt face and his...
the gauntness. It's no shade to the dude, right? But his the vibe of deathness, right? Where he's just got this...
That cold psychoticness again. It's that... that was a really good choice. Nailed that. So my last one is another sort of more minor character. And I think that this character, I think, would be one of those ones that I would absolutely love to see if they were going to do a full Horus Heresy kind of from the start to the finish kind of thing over a TV show. I would absolutely love to follow this character with this actor from where he starts to where he ends up in 40K, because I think this actor would just absolutely nail it. And that is Lucius, who then becomes Lucius the Eternal.
Oh, yeah.
And my choice to play him would be Mads Mikkelsen, because I think Mads Mikkelsen
Sexy man.
He's so sexy, which is perfect for an Emperor's Children Marine, obviously. He's got that sort of like cockiness to him, hasn't he, a little bit? Like when he's in, I don't know if you guys have seen him in Doctor Strange, when he plays the, I can't remember the name of the guy, but...
It's just evil sorcerer.
He's got that sort of cockiness to him, which is great. And I think he'd be good in the combat scenes and the fight scenes and all that sort of stuff. But also, if you've seen him in Casino Royale with like the sort of scar and he's got that great sinister energy too. So I think he would just be excellent as he starts to descend into that ego consuming him, and that sort of the scarification and all of that, like losing himself to his dualism, and it's just, I think it'd be so good. He'd be amazing at that. Yeah,
he would be good.
You could, but I just felt like Lucius he'd be so
it's a fair
cool
choice.
With that.
It's a very, very, very fair choice. I mean, one of my favourite modern memes of all time, because he just has this weird crossover attraction to everybody, right? Is like him and Tilda Swinton, it must have been in a movie together. It was like the top where it's like when the couple are table over suggests a swing and you're kind of into it.
No, he has got that sexiness, hasn't he?
He's so hot.
And I think he's
such
just
a hottie.
He's just got that sort of. I don't know whether you find this as well. He's got that sort of almost underlying feral savagery,
He's also got a bit of a superiority vibe, right? Well, ironically, apparently he's lovely in real life.
He could be nasty.
Just has that look.
Do you know what I mean? Like he's got that sort of like he's lovely. And he's definitely got the signature look of superiority. But he also has that. If you fuck with this guy and push him too far, he'll bite your jugular out. That sort of dude.
Yeah, he's very primal. Is the word that I describe him. Yeah. Very primal.
So
very
that's
primal.
my last choice.
Very good, very good. I'm going to go over one that I think I need to talk about, even though he's my most hated Primarch, and then I'm going to throw out some quick ones. Alexander Ludwig as Leman Russ, who of course played Bjorn Ironside from Vikings.
Good choice.
I think you need someone proper Norsey to play that. You need like a proper Scandi actor to play that, and he looks great, and he's maturing very, very well, and I think he would be great. Did you ever watch Vikings? No, I didn't.
I need to watch it. Yeah.
Banging show. Absolutely banging show. And very quickly, I'm going to throw out some other ones. Gary Oldman, of course, as Eisenhorn. But the thing is, he actually might be Eisenhorn, because apparently he was being shown around Warhammer World by Henry Cavill at one point, and his two sons were freaking out about the fact that he could have anything to do with this IP. So quite frankly, if Gary Oldman can make Eisenhorn happen, I will quite literally drop my fucking yogurt all over the shop. I thought of one very quickly. Benedict Cumberbatch as Belisarius
Cole. Oh, that's a great one. Yeah,
Cole.
He's got such a good voice.
I thought was quite cool.
So he even though you're not going to see much of him because Cole's so fucked up and he's only got this much face.
But it's that complex of arrogance.
He'd
right?
be great. That's a really good choice.
There you go. So thank you. And then finally, the one interesting one, the Emperor.
Yes.
Voice actor, never see his face.
Who?
So get I don't know, of course everyone's like Andy Serkis or whatever. Gene Simmons.
Not that Gene.
Sorry,
not Gene Simmons. What's the guy that plays? Not Gene Simmons. Who's the guy that plays? Who's the guy that plays? The guy that runs the Daily Bugle in Spider-Man. What's his name? Something Simmons.
Oh fuck! Something
Him,
Simmons.
not Gene Simmons. Sorry, my brain is like chocolate at the minute. Hang on, wait. I've got to find out. 1 second. I've got to find this out. Oh, it's J.K. Simmons. Sorry, J.K. Simmons as the Emperor. There you go. Slightly different. Gene Simmons.
That's made my fucking day.
Old man brain.
This needs to be a short.
Damn
this needs to be a short. Very cool. But yeah, just never see his face. Just never see his face.
Who's the guy that voice acted Ultron? Because I really want him to do Trazyn. I don't know who he did it. I bet that he needs to be Trazyn because he fucking nailed Ultron in the Avengers movies.
A Necron.
Yeah, he was so good. There's got to be some good Necron characters out there. I just yeah.
But let us know what you think, guys.
Yes, please do.
Don't choose wanky shit. Like Chris Evans as Gaunt. Like,
No.
fuck that. Like think about it, please.
I'd like
none of this bullshit.
I'd like Henry Cavill to play as Alpharius, Omegon, and the entire Alpha Legion because they're all the same man.
Weirdly, although I'm very thankful for Henry Cavill for doing stuff, like I don't, apart from possibly Constantine Valdor,
It's going to be really hard for him to cast himself.
I'm not really cool with him being anyone,
I
really.
think right,
because
Henry Cavill. I know that there's a lot of chat about Henry Cavill with 40k because he's a bit of like a, everyone likes to put him in the thumbnail. We definitely won't do that. Everyone likes to put him in the thumbnail and be like Henry Cavill and like make a big thing out of it, but. He is a fucking dude when it comes to like the IPs that he loves and respects. Like with The Witcher, he stepped out because obviously they were fucking the show up and not really concentrating on the stuff.
Oh, no, of course. I've got no
but
beef
he
with the guy
he loves Warhammer
great.
and he has a lot of respect for this setting.
Yeah.
And by God, I don't think I could think of another actor out there in the world that I would rather have helming this shit with Amazon right now. And sure, it's going to be hard to cast himself in there. Sure, I'm sure that he'll... and the reason why is because obviously he's going to want to pick a character that he's going to want to play enough of and be an important character enough in that sort of series that he's going to actually be around to do a lot of that character. But also, he's not going to just want to take the whole damn thing over and make it the Henry Cavill show. Do you see what I mean? So
no, exactly.
It's going to be really difficult.
You had it with decorum.
Yeah. But I'd love to see him in it. I just, I'd maybe just...
Oh, yeah, me too.
Like, if they decide to do him as, like, a main character of a series of, like, like an... It's not going to be Eisenhorn, but, like, that side of sort of, like, a trilogy of books, whatever it ends up being, about some sort of Inquisitor or something like that, that's fine, because that's quite a unique, contained thing. But, I don't know if he'll cast himself as the Emperor of Mankind or something, for example.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be a really poor show.
I mean, he's joked about it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Let him be like
he'd be good as
Constantine
that. I think.
or
Yeah, he loves the Custodes. He's almost likely to be someone like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right then, let us know your choices, but make them cool.
Make them cool.
We will judge them appropriately. How about we give them a score out of 5? We'll give them a score out of 5. That's cool. There you go. So we'll be arseholes. We'll give you. We'll doff judgment upon thee. So there we go. But thank you very much, my glorious
thank you, Russ, as well. My equally
it was
glorious
always
co-host.
a pleasure. Thank you very much. And go and check out the Battle Barn Bat Report.
Battle_barn
to see a very intense game.
It was good fun. It was awesome. There's another one coming out on Saturday as well. So come hang out with us again. We're playing Sam this time with his Grey Knights against my Gene Stealer Colts. But that'll be a very spicy game. Beautiful.
Yeah, I love that.
All right. Well, thank you once again to our beautiful Patreons and for all our listeners. And we will see you next week. Ciao.
Ciao.